Hey third grade, welcome back. We are going to keep going with Wonder. If you watched yesterday's video, you know that we're still reading from Justin's perspective, who's Via's boyfriend, and that he talked about meeting Via's parents for the first time and spending Valentine's Day with her and also being part of the school play. So what we're going to read today is still going to be in Justin's perspective, but we're going to have another character that I wanted to refresh your memory about, and that is Jack Will. So, do you remember who Jack Will is? If you do, great. If not, if you remember at the beginning of the story when Augie goes to his new school, Jack Will is one of the kids who shows him around. And Jack Will hangs out with them as kind of his friend, but then it's at Halloween when Augie hears Jack Will kind of making fun of him behind his back with some other kids. And Jack Will and Augie are kind of upset at each other, but then they make up, become friends, and that's where we're going to pick up. So if you hear Jack Will in here, remind yourself of that whole story and who he is. The chapter we're going to start off with today is called The Bus Stop. Olivia's mom, Augie, Jack, that's Jack Will, and Daisy come down to the porch just as I'm saying goodbye to Olivia, which is a little awkward. "Hey guys," says the mom, pretending not to see anything, but I can hear the two boys giggling. "Hi, Mrs. Pullman. Please call me Isabel, Justin," she says again. It's like the third time she's told me this, so I really need to start calling her that. "I'm heading home," I say, as if to explain. "Oh, are you heading to the subway?" she says, following the dog with the newspaper. "Can you walk Jack to the bus stop?" "No problem." "That okay with you, Jack?" the mom asks him, and he shrugs. "Justin, can you stay with him till the bus comes?" "Of course." We all say our goodbyes. Olivia winks at me. "You don't have to stay with me," says Jack, as we're walking up the block. "I take the bus by myself all the time. Augie's mom is way too overprotective." He has a low, gravelly voice, like a tough little kid. He kind of looks like one of those little rascal kids in the old black and white movies, like he should be wearing a newspaper cap and knickers. We get to the bus stop, and the schedule says the bus will be there in 8 minutes. "I'll wait with you," I tell him. "Up to you," he shrugs. "Can I borrow $1? I want some gum." I fish $1 out of my pocket and watch him cross the street to the grocery store on the corner. He seems too small to be walking around by himself somehow. Then I think how I was that young, when I was taking the subway by myself, way too young. I'm going to be an overprotective dad someday. I know it. My kids are going to know that I care. I'm waiting there a minute or two when I notice 3 kids walking up the block from the other direction. They walk right past the grocery store, but one of them looks inside and nudges the other 2. They all back up and look inside. I can tell they're up to no good, all elbowing each other, laughing. One of them is Jack's height, but the other 2 look much bigger, more like teens. They hide behind the fruit stand in front of the store, and when Jack walks by, they trail behind him, making loud throw-up noises. Jack casually turns around at the corner to see who they are, and they run, high-fiving each other and laughing. Little jerks. Jack crosses the street like nothing happened and stands next to me at the bus stop blowing a bubble. "Friends of yours?" I finally say. "Ha," he says. He's trying to smile, but I can see he's upset. "Just some jerks from my school," he says. "A kid named Julian and his 2 gorillas, Henry and Miles." Okay, pausing for a second. Do you remember who Julian is? If you don't, remember Julian's the bully at school, the one who's being really mean to August. So, just want to make sure you knew who that was. Let's get back to the story. Did they bother you a lot like that? No, they've never done that before. They'd never do that in school or they'd get kicked out. Julian doesn't even live around here, so I guess it was just bad luck running into him. "Oh, okay," I nod. "It's not a big deal," he assures me. We both automatically look down to see if the bus is coming. "We're sort of in a war," he says after a minute, as if that explains everything. And then he pulls out this crumpled piece of loose-leaf paper from his jean pocket and gives it to me. I unfold it, and it's a list of names in 3 columns. "He's turned the whole grade against me," says Jack. "Not the whole grade," I point out, looking down at the list. "He leaves me notes in my locker that say stuff like, 'Everybody hates you.'" "You should tell your teacher about that." Jack looks at me like I'm an idiot and shakes his head. "Anyway, you have all those neutrals," I say, pointing to the list. "If you get them on your side, things will even up a bit." "Yeah, well, that's not going to happen," he says sarcastically. "Why not?" He shoots me another look like I'm absolutely the stupidest guy he's ever talked to in the world. What? I say. He shakes his head like I'm hopeless. Let's just say, he says, I'm friends with someone who isn't exactly the most popular kid in the school. Then it hits me. What he's not coming out and saying. August. This is all about his being friends with August. And he doesn't want to tell me because I'm the sister's boyfriend. Yeah, of course that makes sense. We see the bus coming down the street. Well, just hang in there, I tell him, handing back the paper. Middle school is about as bad as it gets, and then it gets better. Everything will work out. He shrugs and shoves the list back into his pocket. We wave bye when he gets on the bus, and I watch it pull away. When I get to the subway station 2 blocks away, I see the same 3 kids hanging out in front of the bagel place next door. They're still laughing and joking around, like they're some kind of cool kids. I don't know what happens to me, but I take my glasses off, put them in my pocket, and tuck my fiddle case under my arm so the pointy side is facing up. I walk over to them, my face scrunched up, mean looking. They look at me, laughs dying on their lips when they see me, ice cream cones at odd angles. Hey, listen up. Don't mess with Jack, I say really slowly, gritting my teeth, all tough style. Mess with him again and you'll be very, very sorry. And then I tap my fiddle case for effect. Got it? They nod in unison, ice cream dripping onto their hands. Good. I nod mysteriously, then sprint down the subway 2 steps at a time. Next chapter is called Rehearsal. The play is taking up most of my time as we get closer to opening night. Lots of lines to remember, long monologues, where it's just me talking. Olivia had this great idea, though, and it's helping that I have my fiddle with me on stage, and I play it a bit while I'm talking. It's not written that way, but Mr. Davenport thinks it adds an extra element to the stage manager. And for me, it's great because whenever I need a second to remember my line, I just start playing a little bit on my fiddle. I've gotten to know the kids in the show a lot better, especially the pink-haired girl who plays Emily. Turns out she's not nearly as stuck-up as I thought she was, given the crowd she hangs out with. Her boyfriend's this big athlete who's a big deal on the varsity sports team at school. It's a whole world that I have nothing to do with. So I'm kind of surprised that this Miranda girl turns out to be nice. One day, we're sitting on the floor backstage waiting for the tech guys to fix the spotlight. So, how long have you and Olivia been dating? She asks out of the blue. About 4 months, I say. Have you met her brother? She asks casually. It's so unexpected that I can't hide my surprise. You know Olivia's brother? I ask. Via didn't tell you? We used to be good friends. I've known Augie since he was a baby. Okay, pause again for a second. Miranda, if you don't remember, is Via's really good friend from childhood. I think they grew up together. And then remember, Miranda goes to camp and she comes back and she doesn't really hang out with Via. Okay, back to the story. Oh yeah, I think I knew that, I answer. I didn't want to let on that Olivia had not told me any of this. I didn't want to let on how surprised I am that she called her Via. Nobody but Olivia's family calls her Via, and here's this pink-haired girl who I thought was a stranger calling her Via. Miranda laughs and shakes her head, but she doesn't say anything. There's an awkward silence, and she starts fishing through her bag and pulls out her wallet. She rifles through a couple of pictures and hands one to me. It's of a little boy in a park on a sunny day. He's wearing shorts and a t-shirt and an astronaut helmet that covers his entire head. It was like 100 degrees that day, she says, smiling at the picture, but he wouldn't take that helmet off for anything. He wore it for like 2 years straight, in the winter and the summer at the beach. It was crazy. Yeah, I've seen pictures in Olivia's house. I'm the one who gave him that helmet, she says. She sounds a little proud. She takes the picture and carefully inserts it back into her wallet. Cool, I answer. So you're okay with it? She says, looking at me. I look at her blankly. Okay with what? She raises her eyebrows like she doesn't believe me. You know what I'm talking about, she says, and takes a long drink from her water bottle. Let's face it, she continues. The universe was not kind to Augie Pullman. Next chapter is called Bird. Why didn't you tell me that you and Miranda used to be friends? I say to Olivia the next day. I'm really annoyed at her for not telling me this. It's not a big deal, she answers defensively, looking at me like I'm weird. It is a big deal, I say. I looked like an idiot. How could you not tell me? You always acted like you don't know her. I don't know her, she answers quickly. I don't know who that pink-haired cheerleader is. The girl I knew was a total dork who collected American Girl dolls. Oh, come on, Olivia. You come on. You could have mentioned it to me at some point, I say quietly, pretending not to notice that a big fat tear is suddenly rolling down her cheek. She shrugs, fighting back bigger tears. It's okay, I'm not mad, I say, thinking the tears are about me. I honestly don't care if you're mad, she says. Oh, that's real nice, I say. She doesn't say anything back. The tears are about to come. Olivia, what's the matter? She shakes her head like she doesn't want to talk about it, but all of a sudden the tears start rolling a mile a minute. I'm sorry, it's not you, Justin. I'm not crying because of you, she finally says through her tears. Then why are you crying? Because I'm an awful person. What are you talking about? She's not looking at me, wiping her tears with the palm of her hand. I haven't told my parents about the show, she says quietly. I shake my head because I don't quite get what she's telling me. That's okay, I say. It's not too late. There are still tickets. I don't want them to come to the show, Justin, she says. Don't you see what I'm saying? I don't want them to come. If they come, they'll bring Augie with them, and I just don't feel like... Here she's hit by another round of crying that doesn't let her finish talking. I put my arm around her. I'm an awful person, she says through her tears. You're not an awful person, I say softly. Yes, I am. It's just been so nice being in a new school where nobody knows about him, you know? Nobody's whispering about it behind my back. It's just been so nice. But if he comes to the play, then everyone will talk about it. Everyone will know. I don't know why I'm feeling like this. I swear I've never been embarrassed by him before. I know, I say. You're entitled, Olivia. You've dealt with a lot your whole life. Olivia reminds me of a bird sometimes, how her feathers get all ruffled when she's mad and when she's fragile, like this. She's a little lost bird looking for a nest. Last chapter I'm going to read today is called The Universe. I can't sleep tonight. My head is full of thoughts that won't turn off. Lines from the play, elements of the periodic table, math problems I'm supposed to be understanding, Olivia, Augie. Miranda's words keep coming back. The universe was not kind to Augie Pullman. I'm thinking about that a lot and everything it means. She's right about that. The universe was not kind to Augie Pullman. What did that little kid ever do to deserve this? What did his parents do? Or Olivia? She once mentioned that some doctor told her parents that was a 1 in a million chance that Augie ended up the way he did. My head swirls on this, but then softer thoughts soothe, and I think about music. No, it's not all random. If it really was all random, the universe would abandon us completely, and the universe doesn't. It takes care of the most fragile creations in ways we can't see, like really great parents, or sisters, or even the pink-haired girl who carries your picture in her wallet. Maybe it is a lottery, but the universe makes it all even out in the end. The universe takes care of all of its birds. That's where I'm going to stop for today. Tomorrow when we pick up, we are going to start reading from a different character's perspective. So just like I do in class, I'm not going to tell you who it is. I'm going to let you think about it. So maybe be thinking of some of the characters in Wonder that we haven't heard from, or maybe you think we're going to hear from a character we've already heard from before. So I'll leave you with that to think about, and I will see you all tomorrow.